College Hoops, Coach to Coast. We're back with my man Kevin Sweeney, All Access Network. Kev, what's up, man?
And good to be with you, B, as always.
As
Excited
always,
about it.
man. I always love when you dress up, man. It makes me feel like we're really doing something here.
Yeah, I dressed up just for the occasion, nothing else.
We know better than that, but I'll take it. So we have special guest today, somebody who I think is one of the best in the business. He will be a Division I head coach. He's been a head coach at lower levels before, just coming off of being a head coach. Has signed some of the best players, not only in college basketball, but that are now currently in the NBA. And just a tremendous person on top of that and can coach ball. So let's talk Oregon Ducks. We have Chris Crutchfield coming in. We'll let Sweeney have the big screen for a second and talk Oregon Ducks, and then we'll bring in Coach.
Yeah, I mean, certainly expectations high, as they always seem to be under Dana Altman. They do a great job there, and replacing Tony Stubblefield is Chris Crutchfield, and a guy who certainly has done a great job in his career doing a lot of the same things and more that Stubblefield is able to do. And we saw the track that Stubblefield gets a high major job from it. So kind of tells you the level that this guy is at. He's big time, and this program is big time. They have a lot of talent. They bring in transfers from a huge transfer from Oklahoma and Davion Harmon, big time transfer. Jacob Young from Rutgers, Quincy Guerrier from Syracuse. They made a 5-star big man, Nathan Biddle. The talent level, as always, is very high in Eugene, and it's only getting higher if you look ahead to the 2022 class. So things are rolling pretty good there, and looking forward definitely to watching the Pac-12 battles between UCLA and Oregon, and really the rest of the league as well. So.
Yeah, and Chris Duarte is one of the better NBA rookies right now as well, who was an Oregon Duck. And people didn't think he was going to be as good as he is, but he is showing what that Duck life is all about. So as we talk about players and all this good stuff, Oregon Ducks, let's bring in Coach Crutchfield so he can tell us more about the inside. Coach, how you doing today?
Hey, guys. How you doing? Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, excited to have you on, Coach. Talk a little Ducks. So we will talk first about you being a head coach. Now you've been high major forever, everywhere you've been, and now you're coming back to Oregon. Tell us about the move. What made you decide to leave being a head coach to come back to this level, and then we'll talk a little bit about the team.
Well, as you know, Brian, I was at East Central, a Division II school, and coaching my kids, and was really content and really happy being a head coach at the D2 level, and really found some excitement and joy doing that. And when Dana called, and I had turned down a couple opportunities already, and when Dana called, I just knew that this was the opportunity that I couldn't pass up.
Right.
If I was going to have a chance to try to be a Division I head coach, to have my own program at the Division I level. So, with my family, we talked about it for about a week, and ended up being something that we all thought I should do. And we jumped in it, man, both feet on deck, and here we are. And been 6 months now, and it's amazing how fast time flies. But I'm back in it. Back in it
all the way. So two questions before I pass over to Kevin. First, the high-level coach that you're replacing on the staff, you already had a relationship with him. Tell the people about that relationship and how happy you are for him.
Well, Tony Stubbs is like my brother. I tell people all the time, I don't have any brothers. I have 6 sisters. He is my brother. We went to school together, and we was roommates, and he was in my wedding. And we've been connected, ever since we left, Nebraska, Omaha's campus. I had the opportunity to work with Stubbs at New Mexico State for 4 years. I was at Lou Henson. And he's just been, he's been a great friend to me, and he really has been a brother to me. He's one guy that I call my brother. So we followed each other's careers, since we left Nebraska, Omaha, from the time he was at UTA and I was at Tyler Junior College, and we went different places, but we stayed connected. So he gets the job at DePaul, and the first conversation was, Crutch, will you come with me? And I don't know if you guys know, we're close. We're really close. So, and I said, I don't know about having your best friend work for you. I just didn't think that would be a good idea. So a week go by, and then he called and said, Dana need an assistant. You have any interest in going to Oregon? I said, ugh. My kids would kill me. My wife would kill me. I just moved from Arkansas to Ada, Oklahoma. I said, I can't do it, man. And I'm telling you, 3 days went by, and Coach Kruger called, because Coach Kruger and Dana are really, really close. So they put the pressure on me, and they squeezed me hard, and it worked out pretty good. But I'm so happy for Tony because, and Brian, if you're in this business, you constantly chasing dreams, man. You're chasing opportunity to get to the Final Four, opportunity to have your own Division I programs. And we've been kind of dreaming together, for the last 20 years, just sharing each other thoughts about what we think we could do, what we want to do. And when he got that opportunity, man, I was so happy for him. And I cried because he didn't just take a bad job. He took a really good job in a Power 5 conference. And
yes, he did.
And most of the time that don't happen. Mm-hmm. So I was really, really elated for him. And, I just knew what that means for his livelihood and his family. And I'm hoping he get an opportunity to really get it going, which he will. He hired a great staff. And I'm just so happy for him, man, because and he's in a great city. I mean, how you turn that Chicago?
That's Kevin's city. Kevin lives in Chicago.
Oh my goodness. So he got he got Big East, he got Chicago, and he's the head coach. Yep. Wow.
Well, you're next up, Coach. That's the plan. We know you guys are going to win, and the good Lord has great things in store for you, for sure. I'm going to keep speaking into existence, Coach.
Please do.
We got a couple Texas guys. I always got to talk Texas guys. I'm a Texas guy. Mm-hmm. We got to talk Texas guy. I recruited Jacob Young to UTEP. He was this close to coming, and he went to Rutgers. But I love that kid. I love what he's about. I love his work ethic. He's a bucket. So talk about him. And then Harmon, I know you were – if I'm not mistaken, you were the guy recruiting in Oklahoma. So it only makes sense if Lon Kruger's not going to be there for him to be with you. Talk about those two guys real quick before I pass it to Kevin.
Well, Jacob, I've known Jacob for a while. He's recruiting Texas. I've been in Texas for a while. So before he went to the University of Texas, we kind of dibbled and dabbled with him a little bit. And, of course, we had a chance to play against him when he was at Texas. Then I knew about him because I knew his brother Joe, and I knew his dad. So I knew about him, and he's been here, man. His nickname, I've given him a nickname since I've been here. He's the Beast. He is the Beast.
That's a good nickname.
He's our toughest dude.
Yeah.
He gets through screens. Nobody can screen him. He gets downhill like no other. And, he just has this persona about him that nothing bothers him. He's a tough kid. And, he's an older veteran player who's been in school this is his 6th year of college. So you think about the experience he's had. He's been in the Big 12 for 2 years. He sat out a year in the Big East, or I guess it's the Big 10 at Rutgers. So he played for 2 years at Rutgers, and using his COVID year, he's a grad transfer. He has his degree already from the University of Rutgers. So, you're getting not just an older veteran basketball player. You're getting a man, and he's helped our team so much to this point. And I can't wait, to the season start for him to get off to a great start. Then Davion, of course, is like my son. I started recruiting him when he was a freshman at Geyer. When I first saw him in Peach Jam, when he was playing with, I think it was Premier or one of those teams. It wasn't even a EYBL team. And I fell in love with him from day one and just started recruiting him and ended up getting him to go to Oklahoma. Unfortunately, I left to take the Arkansas job, and he was there for 2 years. And it's amazing how this stuff works out. I end up getting, Coach retires. Davion puts his name in the draft. I have no aspirations, Kevin, of being the Division I coach again. I'm good. And this opportunity comes up. He goes into the portal, and how it all worked out, where we're back united again. And that's all God. That's all God. And because Davion, we are really, really close. And I've stayed close with him and his family through this whole process because I want to see this thing through. Because we started dreaming again with him about his aspirations of being a pro and how I could help him. And I'm glad he's with us now because he gives us another dynamic. He's similar to Jacob Young, but they're different. So you're talking about a two-headed monster in a backcourt with Will Richardson. I just think, wow, that can cause
Houston
people
and
some
Dallas,
problems. That can cause some people some problems defensively and offensively.
Houston
We're
and Dallas.
excited. We're excited.
It's a beautiful thing. I'm gonna step out of the way and let Kevin take over, but I had to give my Texas shout out real quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess the first question I would have for you is you'd been a JUCO head coach back in the early 2000s, but what did you learn from your head coaching experience at East Central that you're able to now apply as a top assistant at a place like Oregon? What were the things you learned, especially in the pandemic year where it felt like coaches were managing even more than they normally had to deal with?
Well, I think what it really taught me, Kevin, was patience. And because we didn't start till after Christmas when I was at East Central. So we're talking about, there's 5-6 months where, you have to space this thing out, man. We practiced for 3 days. We try to cut down the contact that we was having with each other, just to give those guys something to look forward to when we really started hooking it up in late, mid-December, when we really started practicing and going for a long period of time. I mean, you're talking about, August, September, October, November. I mean, we was just trying to buy time and put in things slowly and not rush into it because those guys will get bored saying, when's the next game? When's the game? So we kind of spoon-feeded, but just a little bit of information as we got closer and closer to the season starting. And we ended up, starting a pandemic season, shortened season. We only played 20 games, but it was fun. And it was fun coaching my kids. But to answer your question, what I learned in junior college as a head coach, it helped me when I got the job at East Central just because I had been a head coach. I called timeouts. I had to reshape a roster. I had to hire staff. So I had all that experience in the background, and I knew how to do it. I don't think you forget how to do those things, but it really helped me a lot. But I was a lot patient. I was a lot more secure with who I was and what I was able to do. And it was 20 years ago.
And I think, kind of looking ahead to this group, you mentioned this kind of backcourt monster of experience and talent with Young and Richardson and Harmon. In a world where, it seems like every guard wants the ball in their hands, and really for, all these guys, they have legitimate, professional aspirations. How do you guys balance getting all of those guys the touches that they want and the scoring balance you need to win games at a high level?
I think what we talk about with these guys is just sharing the basketball and kind of having a atmosphere of just playing off of each other. Really, really want to attack and transition and trying to get as many easy baskets as we can because of their speed and their ability to get downhill. I mean, like Jacob and Davion is like, they're like Maseratis and Corvettes. I mean, they can go 0 to 60 really, really fast. And then you got, Will Richardson, who's kind of like, the Bentley coupe. He can go fast, he can go slow, he's smooth. And I think that dynamic really, really can give you opportunities, not just in the half court, but really, really in transition, which is one of the things that we're going to really, really, really push is trying to get out in transition and score some easy baskets before teams can get their defense set. So I think just teaching those guys, one, that everyone can bring it in transition. You just have to make the right basketball play. And if you're going to be the trigger guy, you got to be the trigger guy, and you got to facilitate, and you got to get guys shots, and you got to move the ball. And there's going to be times where that is going to be one person have a good night, and next night might be the next guy. We got a saying here is sometimes me, sometimes you, always us. And that's our motto here at University of Oregon, that we truly believe it.
And then up front, obviously, adding a guy like Quincy Guerrier, long line of Canadians that have started at Oregon. What have you seen from him in practice so far, and as you guys get really heated up, and his skill set as a guy, and who I think is like an awesome fit for the offense that Coach Altman has run for many years.
No doubt. He's that 6'7", 6'8", hybrid 3-4 type guy that can do a lot of different things. And what I've been impressed with him, he's a constant. He's a pro. He's a pro that he shows up to work every day. He understands what's going on. He averaged 8.5 rebounds in the ACC conference. Not to mention he can score. So now, since he's been here, he's been working on his 3-point shot. So he's shooting the heck out the basketball right now. And I didn't know. There's one thing I didn't know about him, that I didn't know if he could really shoot the 3-ball. And that's one thing that he really can do, and it comes off his hands great. And I think he's going to be a guy that we're going to lean on heavily to score for us and to rebound for us because of his athletic ability and his versatility to go inside and out. So he's a talent, and great attitude, great work ethic. He's a competitor, and I wouldn't be shocked if he's a guy that plays in the NBA one day for sure.
Talk a little bit about your schedule. I know I'm excited to get to see you guys in person. I'll be out in Vegas for the Maui in Vegas Invitational, I guess.
Oh, you're going to be there? Good.
Yes, sir, I will be. But talk about the schedule you guys have put together and some of the challenges ahead of you guys in the first month or two of the year.
Well, we open up, home here next Tuesday with Texas Southern, who returns a bunch of players from last year's NCAA tournament team. And Johnny Jones will have those guys ready. And Coach Altman already set the stage. They beat this team here, I think, 3 or 4 years ago. So Texas Southern is not an easy game to get started with, for sure. Then we turn right around 3 days later and host SMU, who's projected to be an NCAA tournament team. Then we go up to Portland for a neutral site game against BYU, who is predicted to be an NCAA tournament team. So our first 3 games are going to be challenging games. They're all at home, so to speak, outside of BYU being played in the Motor Center. But those first 3 games are going to be, tough games for us, I think. And then, of course, we get started with the tournament in Vegas, which the Maui Classic. And, some people can say we get off to the best start because we got the number 1 seed with Chaminade, but you never know. You never know about Division II teams. I mean, people still remember when they beat Virginia several years ago. So, not to mention Wisconsin, Houston. I mean, Notre Dame. That tournament is loaded with some powerhouses, and Houston was in the Final Four last year. So, it don't get any easier. Then we host Montana, I think UC Riverside. Then we get right into Pac-12 play in early December against Arizona State and Stanford. So we have some really, really tough opponents on our schedule. In late December, we have Baylor coming into town, the national champions coming into town on December the 18th. And, that's not going to be an easy fight either. So I always tease our ops guy, Josh Jameson, that's who done the schedule. And some of it was done way before I got here. I was like, wow. I don't know what you guys are doing. Coach Kruger would have never made a schedule like this. But if you're at Oregon, you have to play somebody and you have to play people. And in this day and age, strength of schedule do mean something. So I think it's a really, really good schedule.
Coach, you've been a lot of stops. What is your excitement about the 12 in particular, and what makes Oregon different? Not necessarily better, but what makes it different? What makes Oregon from the places that you've been? You've seen the highest level, Arkansas, OU. What is that place like in particular?
Well, I'm excited about the Pac-12 because I've never, coached in the Pac-12. We played Pac-12 opponents when I was at various stops, but I'm excited just because of what they did last year, the way they ended. Over the years, the Pac-12 have never gotten national respect. I do know that. And after what they did last year with several teams being in the Elite Eight and Sweet 16 and UCLA making the Final Four, I think it earned national respect that the Pac-12 is a conference that you should pay attention to. Of course, Oregon has always been one of those teams, winning back-to-back Pac-12 champions, and I think they've always been a program that people respect throughout the years, and they made several Elite Eight runs and Sweet 16 runs, and in the Final Four in 2017. So Oregon has been respected. What makes this place different, and I think, is their facility, their attention to details, and trying to be on the cutting edge of everything that's happening in college sports, from football to softball to baseball and to women's and men's basketball, who's had a lot of success. So I think you have some people behind the scenes that really, really want Oregon to be successful, not just in athletics and our overall school, the way we function, our research that's been done on this campus. And I think what separates athletics right now is the commitment to being the best in the Pac-12 and being one of the best in the nation in every single sport. So if you look around our campus, we have first-class facilities. Our guys eat better than anyone else in the country. They live in places that are better than anyone in the country. So I think that commitment right there to athletics allow you to recruit the best student athletes.
For sure. We'll have to talk NIL next time because I'm sure you guys have all kinds of stuff going on out there. But tell us some kind of a funny story, either now or in your head coaching time, coaching your sons, or back when you coached Trey Young over at Oklahoma. Any funny story you got for us, Coach, before you go? If you have any. I'm sure you do, but.
Well, I got some good stories. I don't know how funny they'll be.
We'll take good. Kevin likes good.
I'm trying to think here the funny.
Kevin's got a serious job, Coach. So we try.
Let me tell you. I'll tell you this.
Try to keep it light for Kevin.
I'll tell you this story. Hey, I'm at Oklahoma, and I can't remember the game. It might have been Texas, and we're in a big game against Texas. And Buddy Hield is he's our star, and he's in foul trouble. He gets 2 fouls in the first half, and Coach Kruger never play you in the first half if you got 2 fouls. So he's sitting right beside me on the bench. Crutch, you gotta put me back in. And it's a tie game. It's close. It's a close game. I mean, it's a 1 or 2 possession game. So coach is not going to dare put him back in. So he's over chirping in my ear, Coach, put me in. So there's a timeout. All the players walk out. He walks beside Coach Kruger. Hey, Coach, you gonna put me in? You gonna put me in? You gonna put me in? He kept doing it. So there's 12 minutes to go in the first half. So next time out, he does it again. Coach, you gonna put me in? You gonna put me in? He said, Coach, stop being scared. Put me in. He looked at Coach here. Stop being scared and put me in. He said, I'm not putting you in, so stop. And we all just looked around. All the players heard him.